Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be filming a video that's going to be all about Kindle. I know some people are quite hesitant about Kindle. Some people may want to invest in one and they just want some questions answered. So I thought this would be a great video to do to kind of answer some of those questions. Yeah, let's get into it. The first question, what Kindle do I own? Because I upgraded my Kindle not too long ago. Before that I was on one of the first ever generations of the Kindle, but I recently bought a new one about a year ago actually now. So this one is the Kindle Paperwhite 32GB without ads in the agave green. Next question is probably going to be how much was it? So my Kindle was £179.99, but I had a Kindle beforehand. Amazon have this thing where if you trade in your old Kindle, you get a voucher for money off a new Kindle. So I traded in my old Kindle. I think it got like £20. £15–20. Then I got £15–20 off this, and then I also had an Amazon voucher for some reason, I can't remember now, but I think I paid about £130 and for this Kindle, which may seem like a lot of money. I mean, it is a lot of money, I'm not saying it's not, but in terms of it being worth it, I definitely do think it is worth the money. We'll get into it later with the pros and the cons. They have gone up a lot in price over the years. I do think that this Kindle is a world better than my previous Kindle, and I do think that it is completely worth the money. So the pros of my Kindle, I've got them written down here, I keep looking down. First one, probably the most obvious one, is you can read anywhere. You can read in the dark, you can read on a plane, you can literally take this Kindle anywhere because you can just turn it on, click a book and go. It doesn't matter if it's dark, it doesn't matter if there's no Wi-Fi, it doesn't matter if you don't have the room to take a million books with you. The best thing really is that you can read it in the dark. When I was on the plane the other day, I don't know why they do it, they like turn the lights off as they ascend and descend. So they were like, if you want to keep reading then you can turn your overhead light on. And I was like, I don't need to because I've got my Kindle. I think a lot of people have a misconception where it's like it's gonna hurt reading their eyes. It's gonna be like reading on a phone because of the brightness, but that is not the case at all. I don't know the technical terms, like this isn't the place to come for technical terms, but I know that it is definitely not as harsh a light as your phone. It's not as backlit as your phone. It's not like a blue light like your phone, so it's not going to hurt your eyes. But there are multiple settings in the Kindle. I'm going off topic here now, but another pro is that you can put password on your Kindle, so if you don't want people getting into it, you don't want people reading your books, if you're embarrassed about the books that you read, maybe there's a password option. Here it has these options. So there is a brightness option. Oh, it's going on. Mine's on auto brightness, but you can turn that off. So there's a brightness option where you can change the brightness. And then there's also a warmth option where you can change the warmth of it, which is like making it more of like a warmer toned light, which is opposite to a blue light, so it's much easier on your eyes. So I have mine scheduled because you can set a schedule for it like you can on a phone. So I have mine scheduled from 8 PM to 8 AM to be like an orange light. This is like my phone, as you can see, it's a bit of a different sort of brightness. That is another positive, is the lighting settings. It is also incredibly compact, like compared to a book. That one's quite a big book. Let me take a normal size book, like a Girl's Guide to Murder here. This is the book compared to the size of a Kindle. That's going to take up a lot less room in your luggage compared to this, and especially if you want to bring multiple books. If you want to bring multiple books in a bag, you have to keep adding to it and making it heavier, whereas with this one you can put as many books as you want. It will always be the same size, it will always be the same weight, and it's very, very lightweight. Like this is basically no weight in my hand. It's more light than my phone. You can also change the cover of your Kindle to be the book that you're currently reading if you want more of a personalised cover. Other than that, they just have these pretty images as well, so something that you can just keep on your bedside table and it has like a pretty image on, or you can fully turn it off and then it's just blank. Some of the features of the Kindle I'm going to go into now. I've already shown you the brightness and the password, but you can also on your Kindle, and you can buy books on your Kindle. I've never done that, but you can search for books on your Kindle, buy them if it's linked to your Amazon account. Browse books on here just by going up and down. It gives you suggestions on books. Then if you go into a book, you can click on this and it shows you all the chapters. If you can see there, it shows you all the chapters and the page numbers. That's another thing I really enjoy about this, is that when you are looking in a physical book, for the amount of pages a book has, you have to flip through and you have to try and like not look at what the last page says. Try not to get it spoiled for you, whereas in this one you can just go acknowledgements start on page 407. So there are 407 pages for me to read, because obviously you can just look up the number of pages in a book, but that's including acknowledgements and stuff. That's a really good option as well. Another thing you can do is highlight stuff, so you can annotate, choose this sentence, you can highlight, and you can also add a note, which I really enjoy, because sometimes when you're reading you just want to remember it, and then you can go on your Goodreads app and you can click on the book on Goodreads and it will show you your highlights and your notes. You can also hold down on the word and then it will come up with a dictionary definition of the word, or it can also translate words if sometimes you're reading a book and there's like a sentence in a foreign language. There's a Wikipedia, it's more of like a term or like a place rather than a word. Last feature that I'm going to say is that you can customize the font and the size. So if you are reading books and you find the font is sometimes too small, on your Kindle you can make a theme and then save that theme. So I just have mine on what it comes with, I think, but you can see that you can change the font, you can change how bold it is, and you can also change the size. I have mine on Bookily and size 5 is the one that I have, but you can make it really big if you want to. You can make it smaller, you can change the font to whatever font is your favourite. You can also change the layout by orientation, margins, alignment and spacing. Another thing I'm going to quickly mention is that if you click up here you can go onto the 3 dots and then you can go about this book and it tells you synopsis of the book. It tells you what would be on the back. In a physical book you can just read the back, but on a Kindle you can also read the blurb just as easily. Those are the features that I really enjoy on the Kindle. Also on this Kindle, on Kindles you can connect it to your Goodreads account. So as I said, you can see your notes and highlights, but you can also mark as started reading or mark as finished reading. You can rate it as well, which will link to your Goodreads account. People also say that they can read faster on a Kindle. I don't really find this, to be honest. I'll talk about it more in the cons section, but I don't really find that I read faster on this Kindle, but many people do, so you will probably find that you read faster on the Kindle. I think it's just me. You also have very quick access to books, so as soon as a book comes out, pre-order it, it will be on your Kindle that day. Straight away in the morning you just have to go on here, download the book, and it's on there. As well as that, you don't have to, if you want to read a book that's already out, want to read it now, all you have to do is go on your Amazon, buy the book, again download it, open it up, and it's there. You don't have to go out to a shop, you don't have to wait. Another feature I didn't mention is the percentage of the book that you were through. I really enjoy this feature. I always have mine on the percentage. I miss it so much when I'm in paperbacks where I can't see the percentage. I'm always like going like this to my books and trying to work out the percentage. I love seeing the percentage of book. On the left hand side you can either have page number, time left in chapter, time left in book, or location. I don't know what that is. Or you can have nothing there if you want. I usually have mine on time left in chapter, because when you're reading a book and you're like, oh, I need to be back at work in 5 minutes, and you're like, well, this chapter has 4 minutes left, I can fit in this chapter. Whereas if you were reading, I'd kind of look how many pages and I'd be like, I don't know if I could fit that in, and I'd just leave it. So I do find that really helpful as well. The next thing that I love about having a Kindle is the designing of it. So you can put a case on it. I just have a clear one, but if you would rather have a case than stickers, then you can have multiple different colour cases, multiple different patterns. But for me, I just have a clear case because I have stickers in mine. I got the stickers and the case from Amazon. These are stickers, they're just Taylor Swift ones. My Kindle's called Betty, that's why Betty's there. And I also have a little sleeve to put my Kindle in just to keep it extra protected, because, you know, I spent a lot of money on this. So this one is just from Etsy, daisies on it, and it's really nice and cushioned. Keep your Kindle nice and safe. Sometimes I don't put my Kindle in this if I want it to be extra compact, because obviously once you put it in here it's a little bit less compact. It's still more compact than a book, but it's a little bit less compact once you put it in here. So sometimes I don't use this. It's really cushioned and it has a little seal at the top to stop it coming out. Another pro is the battery life. Battery life on my previous Kindle, to be honest, it wasn't bad. It was like a phone battery life, but when you're reading books you kind of want it to be a little bit more than a phone battery life, because, you know, books can take like 7 hours plus to read. This one, last time I charged it was 2 weeks ago, maybe a bit more than 2 weeks ago, and I read it a lot on holiday and it's on 54%, and I've read 3 books on here since I charged it, so it has a very long battery life. Going on like a week, 2 week long holiday, you don't really need to bring the charger, which I find really convenient. Obviously buying Kindle books is cheaper most of the time than buying a physical copy. Physical copies obviously are going to be a lot more expensive because on the Kindle it's just a file, whereas in a book you get like the whole cover, you get the whole pages, you get a nice physical thing to hold. But if you are looking to save money, then it is a lot cheaper buying books on a Kindle. Another really good benefit, which I'm going to make use of next week when I start the tandem read, is that you can put any file on here. It doesn't need to be a book from Amazon. You can put any file that you have hold of onto your Kindle. And I've done that with 2 books now. I've done it with an ARC for a book, and I've done it with this tandem read where it puts the tandem read in chapter orders rather than having to read both books and try and like find the chapters, because if you don't know, the tandem read is basically you read 2 books at the same time, so it just puts the chapters in the correct order and it's 2 books in one. I can't actually remember how you do it, but there's really easy guides on YouTube or just on the internet anywhere really. And the final pro, which I'll talk about after I've talked about the cons a little bit more, is Kindle Unlimited. Personally, I only used Kindle Unlimited for the 3 months free and I haven't got it since, just because I have quite a lot of books I want to read, but I would probably get it again at some point because it does have some quite good books on there. But it's basically, how much do you pay a month? Like it's like £8-10, I don't know what it is, but you pay a certain amount a month and then you get any amount of Kindle Unlimited books that you want and they're all free. But you know, they don't have every single book ever. It's less limited now, but it is still a limited selection. There are some quite popular books on there as well. Now let's move on to the cons. So one of the cons is there is still lighting to the Kindle, and that might make you feel you're straining your eyes a little bit if you're reading in the dark, because it is light to it. Obviously, as I said, you can change the brightness, you can change the warmth, and it's not like a blue light, like bright blue light like your phone. It is still a light. And sometimes I feel like when I'm reading on my Kindle, I can kind of feel like I'm on an electrical device, which I feel like makes me pick up my phone more. I feel like I'm less in the book sometimes when I read on my Kindle rather than reading on a paperback, and I feel like I'm sometimes more inclined to pick up my phone because I feel like I'm already on an electrical device. That might just be me, but that is one of the cons that I find. I also do kind of prefer reading a paperback. I just love holding paperbacks. I think they're just a bit nicer to read. Obviously, you only pay like a couple pounds more, to be honest, and you have the whole physical book with the cover and everything that you can display on your shelf. Kindle books are cheaper, but they are just a file at the end of the day. You are paying for a file, and sometimes you're paying up to like £6. Sometimes you're paying as much as the paperback in some books. So it does kind of feel like you get less bang for your buck. Another con is obviously that you do have to charge it. I did say that battery life is very long, but eventually you do have to charge it, and so obviously with a paperback, as long as you bring it, you're always going to be able to read it, whereas with a Kindle, it might run out of charge and then you wouldn't be able to read it. You also do have to download books. So when you buy a book from Amazon, the file then appears on your Kindle, but in order for you to open it and read it without Wi-Fi, you first do need Wi-Fi to download it. Once you've downloaded it, you don't need Wi-Fi at all. You can just read it. I don't know when the timing is, but they do undownload themselves at some point as you get more and more books, I think. But you can hotspot your Kindle. So if you do forget, you can just use your phone data and hotspot your Kindle and download it. So it's not really the end of the world. But if you're not going to have any data, any Wi-Fi, then you do need to remember to download them. Last con I'm going to say is that obviously it's not good for bookstores. Bookstores are making a comeback now, but there was a point where they were in a very heavy decline, and I don't want Kindles to be another cause for that. And so I would say, if you have the funds, maybe also don't like completely stick to your Kindle, maybe also read paperbacks as well and support bookstores big and small. This is a very convenient way to read, but obviously it is not the best for the book market. In terms of Kindle Unlimited, I've not read many of the books on Kindle Unlimited. I will tell you a few authors that they have. So they have Freida McFadden, I've read The Housemaid, and I've read One by One by Freida McFadden. Housemaid's definitely on Kindle Unlimited. I don't know if One by One is, but her books are on Kindle Unlimited. Personally, she's not my favourite thriller author, but they are good, well-known thriller books that you might enjoy. There's also Anna Huang, who is the author of The Twisted Twisted Love series. There's also Elsie Silver on there, which she does the Chestnut Springs Cowboy romance series. I haven't read any of those yet, but they are on my TBR, so they're all on there. They also have Holly Black on there, which is Cruel Prince series, which is all on there. And there's also Jessica Hastings, who is the author of the Magnolia Park series, and they're all on there. There are many other books, many other authors, but those are the ones that stood out to me when I was looking through the Kindle Unlimited sections on ones that I've heard of, ones that I might want to read. Obviously that is a big pro to Kindle, if you can make use out of it enough. The reason why I didn't keep Kindle Unlimited is because I kind of felt a pressure to read a certain amount of books on there a month. I wanted to get my money's worth, but then sometimes I was reading my physical books, sometimes I just didn't feel like reading the Kindle Unlimited books. So that is the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I do really recommend getting a Kindle if that is something that you can afford, if that is something that you think is for you from this video. There are many other videos about Kindles on YouTube, and there are more technical videos as well if you want to go watch some of those. But it is a bit of an investment, but I do really think that it is worth it, and I do really love my Kindle, and I've definitely got my money's worth out of it in the past year since I bought it, and I definitely got my money's worth out of the one previously. They do last a long time. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe, comment down below any of your Kindle Unlimited recs, any benefits or cons of a Kindle that I might have missed. Follow my social medias at _libraryofeden on both TikTok and Instagram, and I'll see you in my next video very soon. Bye!